his former job as a commercial diver, which you think you know a little bit about something, then they start explaining it, and blows my mind. Just like
Yeah,
that whole
nutty.
thing. That's not your everyday 9 to 5.
Right, facts. So I was gonna ask a question. You ever see anything crazy down there? Like you ever like what's it I know you seen some you had to see something nutty down there, bro. Like
Okay. Can I tell a story that I haven't experienced firsthand, but it's a pretty crazy story, not too far away from me?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. So my class, I went to school in Long Beach, College of Oceaneering. That's how I learned how to do all this stuff. Um, it just so happened that this particular day, I wasn't feeling well. Decided not to go in. We had to go what we were doing. They call it the Vader project, which was this 6-inch piping job, flange connections. We had to go and search and recover it out in this harbor. It's literally where all of our goods that come in from China or wherever else in the world come and they funnel into this LA harbor and they pick up. So there's barges and everything. And this is where our school was set up, and it was just out in the middle of this harbor. Piping was out there. Every class that goes through does this project. When they're done with it, they take it apart and they scatter it and hide it out in the water. So the next class that comes in, we have to learn or utilize the skills that we learned along the way: search and recovery, rigging, all that stuff. And meanwhile, it's all blindfolded. So what they do is they put something, just anything that would go inside of your hat that obstructs. It's literally blind, completely blindfolded. You do everything by feel, communication from your top side. They can see where you're at. It's this type of diving. It's surface applied air, so meaning that you run off of like a hose. Have you ever seen Men of Honor? It's
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
so it's your air comes through. You have a communication line. There's a what they call a pneumo hose, and then your main air supply. And there's somebody up top, literally like holding you like a leash, and they direct you where to go. Meanwhile, of course, you can't see anything. Everything's done by feel. You would do what you call circle searches. So you would jump in the water and you would start off as close as possible, and then you would kind of scan the area by feel, and then you don't find anything. You tell topside, let off 5 more, and they give you 5 feet or whatever, and then you go and you do like a circle around that. And if you don't find anything, give me 5 more, and literally you're doing everything and you're covering all the ground that you can. Uh, doing these what they call circle searches, right? So we were smack dab in the middle of this, still locating, still trying to find parts out there. And mind you, I wasn't there that day. Think Jeebus. It could have been me, but uh, one of my classmates, he's running around feeling, bumps into something. And of course, there's just so many random things out there. It's
Yeah.
LA Harbor, there's trash, you name it. A lot of times you run into something and you're feeling around. Okay, does this feel like what I'm looking for? No, move on. Yada yada. Well, this guy, he bumps into something and he was like instantly got the whoa, what is that? Like feels around on it again. And he was like, hey guys, I got something. It's definitely not pipe. It's not sinking. It's not floating. It's just here. Well, let's see what it is, right? Instructor's like, well, let's check it out. So they send a rope down. The way you would send tools down and stuff is they would tie stuff off to your what you call your umbilical, right? This hose that goes down that you're tied off to. Um, they could tie it to it topside out of water, and they tell you, bring it in. So this guy, he's bringing his hose in down in the water with him, right, until he retrieves whatever it is. This happens to be like a rope that someone would use to like retrieve whatever it is they're pulling out of the water. He ties off to it, knowing damn well what the hell this thing is, and then somehow not losing his mind. Ties off to it, tells topside, pull it up. They're pulling it up. First thing they see is a foot that comes out of the water.
Oh,
Whoa.
bro.
Yeah.
I was
So
like,
this guy
okay.
bumped
Just the
into,
foot.
and then had the wherewithal to not freak out, tie off to it, and let him recover and retrieve a person that had unfortunately um, expired
Oh,
somewhere in the area, and
okay.
pulled
So
them
it
out.
wasn't. I thought you were saying it was just the foot. I mean, I
No,
guess it's not
it was
better that
attached to an entire. Yeah, it was attached. Unfortunately, attached to a tire person that they. I forget what they had deemed the reasoning behind it. I'm sure we don't get those details anyways. But yeah, that
Yeah.
was the
Woo.
craziest thing
yeah,
that
that
happened that I know of. Outside of me, pretty close. Personally, um, sea turtle, Gulf of Mexico. We're down there. We're doing an
Big.
inspection. Mainly what we do out there was the company that I work for. We would go out and inspect any kind of thing deemed a tropical storm or above in the Gulf that rolls through the Gulf of Mexico. It can't be manned until it's inspected 20% for structural integrity. So, what my company did was we would jam out there in boats. I was a guy, since I was a welder, I wasn't a certified NDT. Um, and there's not a whole lot of welding going on over there unless there's like something crazy happening. I would go down there and I was like the labor guy. I went down there, I cleaned, there was weld joints and stuff that they'd want to inspect. I would clean those up, um, creating all kinds of like debris free food for fish to come along. Every single one of those platforms is its own ecosystem. It has all of its own marine life. It's its own
wow.
world, right?
Yeah.
So I'm doing this, create all this stuff going around. My job is done. I get the 20% columns, joints done. I come up out of the water, and on my way up, I get bit in the ass by something. Now, mind you, we're always getting pinched, kind of prodded, poked by everything around you. This one was like, what? This one got me to turn around and like jump it. And I turned around and look, and it was like a massive sea turtle, mouth wide open, staring at me like this, just like
Oh my
coming at
god.
me. Now,
Shit.
one of the first things they tell you before you go out in the Gulf of Mexico is do not touch the turtles. Don't touch them. Don't look at them. They will shut a job down quicker than anything because of the endangered list, right?
Yeah.
So this thing's coming at me, and I have a chipping hammer, just a standard welding chipping hammer, and I'm like trying to get it to back up. Meanwhile, in my ear and comms, my supervisor up top is like, "Don't touch it," and I'm like,
It's touching me.
I'm stabbing back at this thing, and I'm trying to get away from it, and it's still like coming at me. I have no idea what I did to piss it off, but whatever it was, I pissed it off, and it all went on camera. It all got filmed. We can't edit anything. It all goes to the client, and they had to answer for it for whatever reason, but it turned out to be a pretty good laugh for everybody, and all was well, and turtle was fine, and I healed up pretty well.
Oh
Dang.
man, that's crazy. Maybe it was like territorial. Maybe had like some eggs around or something.
Maybe, yeah, something, anything,
Yeah.
but yeah, he didn't
That's
like me
the
being there.
because
That's for
I
sure. He
don't
wanted me gone.